I didn't know that they was two young boys at the age. They the same age like my grandson.
A tragic story on the South Side with two young lives taken by gun violence.
Police tonight are still working to figure out what led to the two 14-year-olds being shot dead in an alley this weekend.
There's a lot to sort out. Nate Rogers is live now with the story. Nate.
That's right, Dawn and Scott. A lot to sort out indeed, as police are not releasing a lot of official details just yet. We know that this was a very brazen shooting happening in broad daylight on yesterday. Authorities still trying to find the gunman involved.
After the shooting stopped, I looked out the back door. Then when I went back there, I seen the boy's body was laying on the ground.
Their names were Rashad Dorsey and Dakari Womack.
Police said there's 4 male blacks about 14 to 15 years of age who are trying to steal the neighbor's vehicle out of the alley.
According to sources, police received a call that 4 men were trying to break into a resident's vehicle. After being confronted, the men ran into the alley. Witnesses told police they heard gunshots immediately after.
My daycare child was walking out the door when the shooting was going on. And thank God that, nothing didn't happen to her.
There are at least 3 child care businesses located in the immediate area. Neighbor Nancy Johnson is calling for more police patrols.
I mean, it's 3 daycares over here. And it seems like that we don't have no protection when we get to walk out this door. We on our own. And all we have to do, and to pray, that's all we can do.
So we guilty. Blood is on our hands too. And it's not okay. And I'm sick of talking about it and not doing anything about it. So what are we gonna do?
And at this hour, police have not confirmed if those two 14-year-olds were alleged to have participated in the attempted carjackings. Our attempts to reach the 14-year-old's family were unsuccessful. No suspects are in custody at this time.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the Young Scholars of America problem once again. Because before, we've talked about what is happening in cities like D.C. and Baltimore, where you have a state of emergency that has been declared or is considering being declared because of the problem of young teenagers running around committing violent acts and crime. Okay, so the city of D.C., the nation's capital, has declared a state of emergency over the Young Scholars problem. You have Baltimore considering declaring a state of emergency because in all of these liberal cities that all have the same common denominators, you have the same exact pattern of behavior happening. Okay, you have these young teenagers who, just so happen to be urban, right? Running around, committing violent acts and crimes, being agents of chaos. And because of soft on crime policies, these teenagers are allowed to commit these crimes continuously without being locked up, without being detained or charged or anything like that. They face no consequences and they continue to do the same things over and over and over again. Now, the reason why I speak out against this so much is because I don't want to see young people lose their lives. I really don't. Okay, I don't want to see young teenagers die because they live a life of crime, because eventually that is what happens. Okay, eventually somebody else loses their lives at the hands of one of these teenagers, whether or not it happens while they're teenagers or when they grow up and then they progressively commit more violent acts. That is eventually what happens, right? Somebody loses their life, and that is what is happening here in this story out in Chicago, where you have 2 teenage boys that got smoked in a back alley after a carjacking. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about this. We're going to get into it, but before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold. Chances are you've been here before. The chaos in the markets, oil, stocks, just when you thought it was safe and interest rates were rising, new threats are coming out of nowhere. Tensions are boiling from Asia to Europe, and adaptation is the key to securing your wealth. You may not have considered gold before. It's not speculation, but insurance. And right now, you need some insurance. Noble Gold Investments has been protecting investors from disaster for years with precious metals. So if you're worried, it might be time to take a fresh look at gold and silver. Gold is a proven shield for your portfolio and a volatility balance against uncertainty. If it helps, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with its new IRAs this month. If you open your Noble Gold Investments IRA or roll over your 401k, you can claim your coin today. Remember, crisis brews, portfolios waver, and gold insulates. Secure yourself against threats today. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That is noblegoldinvestments.com, the only gold company I trust. And just remember, there's a risk with every investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind.
Chicago police are also searching for the shooter who killed two 14-year-old boys who were found dead in a Chatham alley over the weekend. CBS 2 is learning their deaths could be connected to car thefts in that area. Our Tara Molina is live from police headquarters. And Tara, you spoke to people who live there.
That's right, Erica. And they say they're hearing gunshots and seeing cars stolen constantly. But to have two teenagers killed in the alley nearby, they say something needs to happen to have all of this addressed across Chicago.
89th and Cottage Grove.
The caller heard about 14 shots from the next block over.
Sunday afternoon, broad daylight.
So I know once you see red, take man down.
In this case, boys, two 14-year-olds killed. Officials have only released one of their names, 14-year-old Rashad Dorsey. Andrew Boone lives feet away. He told me he still can't believe it.
So when I came past, I seen the bodies laying on the ground. I'm like, I thought they was grown though. I didn't know that they was 14 until like a little later.
But the first calls that came into police here,
This one's coming in as auto theft in progress. A hysterical female states the man is stealing her car.
related to car thefts in the area.
About 14 to 15 years of age who are trying to steal the neighbor's vehicle out of the alley. They're all wearing black hoodies, unknown weapons. They did use something to break the window. So the two that are shot are possible offenders.
Chicago police will not say if the two boys shot were involved in the attempted car theft, if there are any other crimes connected to the deadly shooting, or if they've identified the shooter, telling me they're still investigating. But Andrew says
they coming out early in the morning or late, just prowling. Like the people in the neighborhood, you will see that they comes out and checks on their cars. That's how bad it is.
Cars are being targeted in this neighborhood constantly.
Like back to back to back to back. The other day, I was on my way to work, and they were trying to steal a lady car from the church.
And while we don't know if the two boys killed here were involved, we do know they are now among the 54 children shot and killed in Chicago this year, between 12 and 17 years old. Andrew says he would like to see more for teenagers to get involved in, to keep them away from the constant crime he's seeing in his own neighborhood.
Like they need to get them in some type of programs where they can work and get some money or do. I feel like if you get some money, your mind won't be just wasting time.
Officials have still only identified one of the boys killed as police continue to investigate this shooting. Of course, we'll continue to check in and bring you the very latest. For now, reporting live outside CPD headquarters, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Tara, thank you.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Again, a story that I don't like covering, but I feel that it is necessary because stories like this happen all too often. Like you guys saw in that video there, over 50 plus children have been shot and killed in Chicago, all between the ages of 12 and 17. Now, again, what I find to be fascinating about this is that despite all these children being shot and killed, silence is from the left in regards to, again, the tragedies that is happening to children in these inner liberal cities. One, from the BLM front, you know, Black Lives Matter, the people that claim they care about black lives that are extremely silent on the issue of black lives being lost every single day in these inner liberal cities. They don't care. And then also the pro-Palestine protesters, right, who also, you know, one of the main reasons why they're upset is about, you know, children dying and being killed. However, in our own country, where you have children dying and being killed, okay, in mass, right, across the country in these liberal cities, silence, crickets. They don't have anything to say about it, right? It's almost as if they really don't care that much about the children that are dying here in this country, which I think is just as tragic as kids dying anywhere in the world, okay? But it seems like, again, because, you know, these children, you know, have died, you know, because they lived a life of crime, okay, Or put it this way, maybe they were caught in a crossfire, maybe they were, you know, in a house and a bullet just happened to hit the house or whatever. Because they were killed in the hood, nobody cares, right? Nobody is protesting and marching in the street talking about how we need to save the lives of these kids. Again, it's just kind of crazy, the world that we live in regards to what we choose to care about, what we choose not to care about. But with that being said, again, situations like this happen because we have a parenting problem in this country. Because after these two teenagers were shot and killed, the news attempted to contact the family members, the parents, and it was unsuccessful. So again, imagine two teenagers getting shot and killed, and then the news tries to contact the parents, and you can't even get in contact with them. You can't even reach them. Again, where were the parents? Why were these 14-year-old boys out there in this alley, okay, in this situation in the first place? Okay, I mean, in Chicago, if I was a parent, I wouldn't have my kids, even in broad daylight, outside at all, especially at the ages of 13, 14, 15 years old. You're not going outside, right? You're going to be in the house at all times. Unless you're going to school or you're going somewhere with me, you're not going anywhere. Okay, you're not going to be outside, especially in no back alley, right, where all types of crimes are being committed. Now, again, we don't know whether or not these teenagers actually were participants in this, you know, car theft, but chances are they probably were, right, which is part of the reason why they ended up getting shot and killed, because they probably tried to take somebody's car, and then maybe, you know, the person that owned the car or whatever, or somebody that was in the area, ended up shooting the kids. And then, you know, you have their bodies lying there in the street, decomposing, just for the neighbors to stumble across. Again, it's an extremely sad situation that happens in these liberal cities on a daily basis. But yet again, there's crickets, right? There's crickets. Nobody is talking about this issue, right? We have a parenting problem, okay? We have a young scholar problem, our youth. Okay, the future of this country. Again, they are in big trouble. Again, our country is in big trouble when you have the youth committing acts of violence like this, when they aren't properly educated. I mean, right now, our kids are the least educated that they've ever been. Okay, they're struggling. Okay, but yet, this is not an issue that we're talking about. This is not something that's at the forefront of the conversation when we're talking about the biggest problems in this country. We need solutions, okay? We have to get these kids that are committing these crimes, these acts of violence that have basically become career criminals. We got to get them off the street, because if you don't, this is what happens to them, right? This is what happens. And also you have innocent people that eventually get shot and killed. We have to deal with this issue that we're facing when it comes to the youth in our country. But yeah, again, you know, this is something that is ignored and not really talked about that much. And I'm going to keep it 100, which is not talked about enough by Democrats and Republicans. Okay? Republicans can score easy points by talking about education and crime more. Okay? I get it. You talk about, you know, the border. You talk about, you know, inflation, but if Republicans actually start talking more about crime, okay, and the youth problem, education, how our kids are being failed by public schools, how our kids are being failed in these inner liberal cities, if they start talking about that more, I think that they could probably pull a lot more of these votes, especially when you're talking about, you know, so-called minorities, because I think that a lot of these people in these inner cities are fed up. I think they're fed up. They're like, look, we need more police. Something has to change. And what has to change is their voting habits, right? That's what really has to change, okay? It's not that the kids don't have jobs. It's not that they don't have opportunity. There's plenty of opportunities. There's plenty of jobs for these kids. They simply don't want them. They're living a life of crime because they've been raised improperly, right? That's the problem. And then these people turn around, they vote for people like Brandon Johnson that make the problem even worse, who believe in defunding the police, who believe in keeping your kids dumb, right? Who believe in giving all the resources to people who don't even pay taxes, who are not even, you know, American citizens. But yeah, again, there's a 95% chance that these same people in this video that were complaining and so shocked by this happening voted for Brandon Johnson and the Democrats that have contributed to the problem. So again, this is an issue that, I'm super passionate about because I don't want to continue to see our youth lose their lives at such a young age because we're soft on crime and we have a parenting problem in this country. This has to be fixed because these kids are the future of our country. They are, whether people like it or not. And what I'm saying from these young kids, from Gen Z, I don't have much hope for the future of this country. I really don't. You have the young scholar problem, obviously, okay, where, again, you have the kids that are committing crimes, that are career criminals, but then you also have the ones that are smart, that, are going to go on to be politicians and lawyers and doctors and engineers and, mathematicians or whatever, right? They're going to go on to get great jobs and be leaders in our society, but they're overwhelmingly woke. They're overwhelmingly left wing, right? And that to me is really discouraging to think about, right? We got two problems when it comes to the youth. You got the ones that are career criminals, right? And then again, the ones that are supposed to be smart, that are supposed to be the future leaders of the country, they're overwhelmingly woke, which again is gonna, also not be great for the country in the future. Again, it's a problem. It's a big, big, big problem that we need to talk a lot more about. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.